Against neo-Nazis is proved by how the hostilities are going. Nationalists and neo-Nazi units that are using foreign mercenaries from the Middle East also, they use civilians as human shields, hiding behind their backs. And we have facts, we have pictures of how they deploy heavy weapons in the residential areas of their cities.
Действуют именно таким образом, самыми крайними бандитами.
And that's how gangsters act. And instead of realizing their promise to remove these weapons from residential areas, from the kindergartens, from hospitals, they do the opposite. They put their mortar guns, they put their tanks, they put their cannons, and they are taking foreign citizens hostage, thousands of young people, students who were studying in Ukraine colleges. So for more than one day, they kept more than 3,000 Indian citizens at the train station in Kharkiv, and they continue keeping them there, including 576 people in the city of Sumy. Neo-Nazis opened fire on Chinese students who wanted to leave Kharkiv. 2 of them were wounded. Once again, hundreds of foreigners want to leave the hostility zone, but they are not allowed to do that. Basically, they are taking prisoners, trying to delay their leave, or they want to evacuate them via Lvov to Poland, to travel across the entire area of hostilities, thus risking their lives. Our military opened safe passage green corridors to allow them to leave safely. They are giving them transport so that civilians, foreign citizens, get an opportunity to move to safer zones. And once again, nationalists are not allowing this to happen. More than that, now they are telling foreigners to address, to appeal to their authorities, and then authorities should address the Ukrainian Foreign Ministry. Basically, they are throwing them under the gunfire, and they treat, neo-Nazis treat their own population even worse. They are hiding behind their backs. They are using them as human shield. Our military witnessed such facts as in Donbass, Severodonetsk, Lysychansk, and other cities. People from the high-risers, they were crowded. And then they were breaking walls in the lower floors, and they were putting their tanks and cannons, putting snipers and machine guns on the roofs. Only fascists use this kind of military tactics. They were inhuman to the local population. And that's when Soviet troops, Soviet forces tried to liberate the land from their presence. We tried to avoid casualties among civilians, and unfortunately, they are taking casualty as well, and it is our duty to support the families of the dead and wounded brother in arms who were fighting for our safety, for the people of Russia. All the family members of the servicemen who died during the special military operation in Ukraine, they will get the insurance payments that they guaranteed by law, 7,421,000 rubles, and monthly they will receive a compensation for each family member of those who died. But other than that, I think we should have additional payment to every family of those who died from the Defense Ministry and other law enforcement agencies who participate in the operation, with a lump sum of 5 million rubles. All the servicemen who were wounded during this operation, they will be also getting payment. What I mean is insurance and lump sum for being wounded, being shell-shocked, being injured in any other way, if servicemen will not be able to continue their army service, they will get 2,968,000 rubles. And if they become disabled, they will get monthly welfare. It is already stated by law. But at the same time, I think we should have additional payments for the Defense Ministry servicemen and soldiers from other law enforcement agencies who participate in this operation and are wounded. And I'm talking about 3 million rubles. And once again, now in the Ukrainian land, our soldiers and officers are fighting for Russia, for a peaceful life, for the people of Donbass, to denazify and demilitarize Ukraine so that no anti-Russia that has been created by the West next to our borders didn't threaten us. With nuclear weapons as well, as it was happening recently, our people is proud of our armed forces. We will always remember our fallen brothers, comrades. We will do everything to support their families, their children, to educate them, to support their close ones and loved ones. So let's honor the memory of our soldiers who died during this special military service with a minute of silence.
Well, that was Vladimir Putin there making an address, having met the Security Council. Let's get some reaction to that. Dasha Chernysheva joins us live from Moscow. Dasha, no doubt you were listening intently to that. What would you take as the key points from President Putin?
Has been achieved. The Defense Ministry is going to give a more detailed report about that. Mr. Shoigu, please.
Well, that was the Russian president there, Vladimir Putin, giving an address. Dasha Chernysheva, our correspondent in Moscow, joins us live now for some reaction. Dasha, no doubt you were listening in intently. What did you take as the key points there that Vladimir Putin was trying to make, presumably to the people of Russia?
Well, he was talking highly about the soldiers, the servicemen whose lives were claimed during the special military operation in Ukraine. He said that there will be financial compensation to the families of those who were killed in the special military operation. Then that Russia will honor those who were wounded. There will be lifetime welfare for them. So essentially, he was talking about them with very high words. But he also said that the special military operation in Ukraine that is pursuing a goal of demilitarization of Ukraine. He said that the tactics used by those who are fighting in Ukraine definitely leaves no doubt that Russia is fighting not with the Ukrainians but with nationalists. And we have heard a lot about neo-Nazism, about denazification of Ukraine from the Russian officials. So these are the lines that we got from the president. And he also stressed that in those fights that took place in Ukraine and that are still taking place there, the nationalists are using the tactics used by the terrorists when they use civilians as human shields.
And is this some way of Vladimir Putin trying to get ahead of some of the criticism that may be out there for him? The protests against this invasion in Ukraine continue in Russia. Are people getting access to any of the same pictures we're seeing? Because the pictures that we're seeing of towns being shelled and damage to apartment buildings and lots of casualties would suggest that the story is anything other than what Vladimir Putin has just said that it is.
Well, certainly the coverage here in Russia is much different than that in the West. And we have seen the state television channels painting a pretty much different picture. Now, people have access to different sources of information. Those who seek alternative sources, they go online, they go on social media. Yet, in this regard, the Russian information watchdog and the defense ministry itself, they have made it very clear that we have to be very careful with the information we receive, because on both sides of the conflict, their disinformation weapon is one of those that is used quite frequently. So we have heard from the defense ministry that lots of those reports shown in the West, they are made with one purpose of disinformation. But certainly people do get to the streets. Since the start of this military operation, people were quite unhappy about the reasons, about the military operation itself, and over 7,000 people have been arrested so far. Now, we also know that there have been requests from certain groups to arrange large-scale protests, most notably on the 5th of March and then on the 12th of March. But of course, protesting in Russia is quite difficult because it is outlawed because of the epidemiological situation. COVID-19 restrictions do not allow that. So it's quite unlikely that those requests will be authorized. Now, notably, there was one other request coming from those who support the special military operation, and that march is likely to be declined as well.